AITAH for putting a bedtime pause on the Wi-Fi because my girlfriend's 28-year-old brother has spent nearly a decade rotting in our house playing video games? I am not OP is you/elliptic originally posted to her/AITAH for putting a bedtime pause on the Wi-Fi because my girlfriend's 28-year-old brother has spent nearly a decade rotting in our house playing video games? Thanks to you/Bakinga Giraffe Bakes and you/Direct Caterpillar 77 for suggesting this. Are you trigger warnings, manipulation, possible mental health issues, entitlement. Original post, May 15, 2026. Around 8 years ago, my girlfriend's younger brother moved back into our house with his wife after leaving the Marines. After high school he enlisted, spent a few years mostly doing support and base-related work, then got out. His plan was to use his GI Bill, pursue a real education, and figure out a long-term career path while staying with us temporarily. We fully supported them. No rent, free housing, utilities, internet, food, and we constantly cooked meals for them. We also helped with job opportunities, resources, and encouragement. The problem is that temporary slowly became years. He never committed to school, never held a serious job, and slowly spent almost all his time gaming. He stays up until sunrise, wakes up around 3 p.m., and avoids people whenever guests come over. Meanwhile, his wife worked full-time as a cashier supporting both of them. Eventually she cheated and left him, saying she no longer felt anything for someone who had lost all ambition and passion for life. Cheating is wrong, but I understood how resentment could build after years of carrying someone. After the divorce he admitted he had wasted years of his life and promised he wanted to change. We supported him through that too. Then my girlfriend's parents moved back onto the property to emotionally support him as well. The house was originally bought by them years ago before being transferred into our names, so technically it's ours now, but there's still family attachment involved. Fast forward to now and nothing has changed. He's 28 and still spends nearly all day in his room gaming. I've brought this issue up to my girlfriend multiple times over the years. Almost every time she either gets angry at me for bringing it up or says he's working on a study program or figuring things out, but those plans never actually happen. Her parents have also admitted they're tired of talking to him because nothing changes. At this point I honestly feel like I'm stuck in an echo chamber where everyone recognizes the problem, but nobody wants to confront it anymore. 2 weeks ago I quietly set a Wi-Fi bedtime pause from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. since me and my girlfriend pay basically all utilities including internet. Honestly, I thought it would affect nobody except him because everyone else sleeps like normal adults. My girlfriend got upset because I did it without telling her. She said she couldn't sleep knowing there was tension in the house because of the Wi-Fi pause. She also explained that growing up, her grandparents controlled things in the house in ways that made her feel like she had no freedom, so the Wi-Fi situation brought back bad memories. I told her I understood that and agreed what her grandparents did was unfair. But I also told her she isn't a child anymore, and neither is her brother. This isn't parents punishing teenagers. This is a 28-year-old grown man spending nearly a decade avoiding adulthood while everyone around him financially cushions the consequences. I finally told her something that came from years of frustration. Somehow everyone can sleep peacefully while watching her brother waste his life isolated in a bedroom gaming all night, but pausing the internet for 6 hours suddenly becomes the unbearable problem. She thinks I'm being cruel towards someone who may be depressed. I think everyone has spent years enabling self-destruction because nobody wants to be the bad guy. AITAH? AITAH has no consensus bot. OP received mixed reactions, splitting between NTA's and YTA's relevant comments. Commenter 1, so which one of you has the greater legal claim to the house, you, or GF? OP, it is 50-50ths. Commenter 2, I'm not understanding the math. He's 28 now, moved in 8 years ago after finishing service in the Marines? So he moved in at 20? Did he join the Marines at 15? OP, I'm not too familiar with how the Marines structure contracts, but from what I understand he enlisted right after high school and was out a couple years later after mostly doing base-related work. He mentioned that his service qualified him for GI Bill education benefits, which was part of the reason he moved back in with us to pursue school and figure out a career path. Commenter 3, he would only officially join at 18 and be out at 22. He would have to serve his 4 years to qualify for the GI Bill. If he got out before his 4 years of service he didn't complete a basis enlistment. He isn't being honest with you. Commenter 4, I got out of the Marines almost 6 years ago. If I remember correctly, you're qualified for partial GI Bill after 90 days and full GI Bill after 2 years. It is possible that someone is honorably discharged because of medical separation after 2 years and still get full GI Bill. I know this because I was medically separated after about 3 years and 8 months and have my full benefits. Edit, I just realized this would make sense because the Army has contracts available that are less than 4 years, but still qualify for full benefits. Another thing to add is if he's going to school on the GI Bill, he would be getting paid a monthly housing allowance based on the cost of living of the zip code of the school he is attending. Meaning he should be able to financially contribute, or save up, while in school. OP, I recall him mentioning that, as long as he attends school, the Marine would reimburse funds to help them with housing or similar expenses. However, can you claim to be attending school without actually attending and still claim the need to pay for housing, such as online classes? Commenter 5, not the asshole. Did something happen during his stint in the Marines? Not sleeping at night would seem to indicate needing therapy, and that would be the best way the family could support the brother. I'm sorry you're going through this. Turning off the Wi-Fi / or changing the password so your GF doesn't have issues is attention-getting. If you care about your GF's younger bro, open the conversation and see what you can do to take the next steps and get him help. It doesn't seem like he's in a place to take that next step himself. OOP, prior to his extreme isolation and when he first moved in with us, he was genuinely cheerful and valued the time he spent in the Marines. He formed a strong sense of camaraderie with his fellow Marines, and from the stories he shares frequently, it seems like he had a great experience. However, I don't hear any particularly extraordinary stories, so I'm assuming that excessive technology consumption is the issue. OOP on the house's background. OOP, the house was originally bought by her parents and uncle, with her uncle being the majority owner. Years later they wanted to sell it, but me and my girlfriend wanted to keep the property, so we bought out the ownership rights, and the title was transferred to us. That's the simplified version. Commenter 6, you're the asshole. You are a grown man who is living in a house paid for by his girlfriend's parents. Why did she get a free house and the brother didn't? Why have you wasted a decade of her life playing house? Grow up and get married or break up. OOP, didn't really want to go too deep into it, but both me and my girlfriend paid out the house. It was not free. Commenter 7, seriously. If you get the brother out, you're still stuck with the parents, no? OOP, her parents are okay, and we actually get along quite well. Since we're Asian, taking care of our aging parents is quite common. Only issue is that her parent is at the point of giving up on talking to their son out of this stage. Commenter 8, the original poster. Your girlfriend may be correct in assuming her brother is depressed, but I fail to see how not restricting the use of Wi-Fi is doing anything other than facilitating him staying in his room. It is also concerning that seemingly neither your girlfriend nor their parents have actively encouraged her brother to seek professional help, but rather have accepted his excuses and false claims repeatedly. From your post it seems as though no one challenges him or holds him accountable for his inactions. Don't get me wrong, a diagnosis of depression is challenging, has he been formally diagnosed, and as with most psychiatric illnesses, it can be difficult to treat and takes perseverance on behalf of the patient and those supporting them. From my personal experience of a depression diagnosis within my family, I gather you are in the States, which may further complicate him seeking help, but this situation is not sustainable and is most definitely not fair to you nor your girlfriend. Even though she may feel obligated to be there for her brother, that does not mean sacrificing your / her future, your / her financial stability and your relationship. A coordinated plan with all the family seems to be required, otherwise I think the original poster you have to rethink your future. NTAH by the way. Good luck OOP, I really appreciate the thoughtful and constructive reply. A lot of what you said honestly lines up with how I've been feeling about the situation. I do think there may be some depression or deeper issues involved, but at the same time the current environment has slowly turned into enabling rather than helping. The Wi-Fi situation was really just the breaking point after years of frustration, not the actual core issue. Thank you for the kind words and perspective. Commenter 9, how does the brother playing video games in his room in the middle of the night bother you? Or sleeping till 3 p.m? He is in his room avoiding people all day. I don't see how this is costing you any money, except giving him some food, maybe. The whole situation is weird. The free house to you, the dysfunctional family, never getting married. It wasn't clear you are the breadwinner, because you say we in the support of the brother. If she is paying towards utilities, maybe you ADH for not at least running it by her first, when you knew it was going to bring things to a head. You threw down the gauntlet, so now you either get your way, or you give up, or you leave. You could have had that conversation first without the confrontational move. OOP, I understand that this might sound unusual, but to us, marriage is simply a piece of paper. We do plan to eventually get married, but there's no need to rush into it. I am the primary breadwinner, but we both contribute equally to the household expenses. I understand the perspective that I am not financially supporting him, but by paying for the house, I am also contributing to the problem. That's something I do consider that I am responsible for. Editor's note, OOP updated onto the original post update, May 17, 2026, same post, 2 days later, update, hey everyone, thank you for all the comments. I honestly never expected this post to blow up the way it did. I've been trying to read through as many comments as possible and really reflect on the situation instead of reacting emotionally. A lot of people had questions regarding the ownership of the house, and I do admit I wasn't very clear about certain details. Part of that was intentional because I wanted to maintain some anonymity for myself and the people involved in case the post gained too much attention, which it obviously did. I hope you guys can understand that. After reading through many of your perspectives, I sat down with my girlfriend last night and we had a very serious conversation about the future and expectations moving forward. I explained to her that I cannot continue living in a situation where one person refuses to take accountability while everyone else is expected to carry the burden. For clarification, the issue is mainly regarding her brother. A lot of the frustration comes from the fact that there has been little to no initiative from him despite everyone around him trying to help. I understand people go through difficult periods in life, and I truly try to be patient and supportive, but at some point effort has to come from the individual too. I told my girlfriend that if nothing changes, then we will need to separate living arrangements and I will move out. As difficult as that conversation was, I felt it was necessary because this situation cannot continue indefinitely without structure, accountability, and actual effort being made. The plan moving forward is to establish real deadlines and measurable steps for her brother to start addressing his situation instead of continuing to avoid it. As many commenters pointed out, VA resources will be the first thing we push him toward pursuing immediately. After that, we discussed career workshops, employment assistance programs, and other resources that could help him get back on his feet and build some long-term stability. I also made it clear that I am willing to support someone who is actively trying to improve their situation, but I cannot continue enabling someone who refuses to help themselves. I care deeply about my girlfriend and her family, which is why I stepped up and stayed patient for as long as I did, but I've also realized I need to protect my own future, finances, and mental well-being too. For now, I'm focusing less on promises and more on actions. I genuinely appreciate everyone who offered advice, criticism, concern, and even tough truths. A lot of your comments gave me perspectives I honestly had not fully considered before. Do not comment in linked posts or message OOPs. BORU rule number 7. This is a repost sub. I am not OOP.